Coming to you live from the Cowboys headquarters in Frisco. Deep in the heart of Texas, it's the Star at Night.
Wow, dramatic much?
Why are you getting in the way of my intro?
You mean our intro? We're your hosts. I'm Kelsey Charles.
And I'm David Hellman.
Okay, let's just start this show now.
Welcome back to a Week 3 edition of The Star at Night. Hey, Kels, you know how I know we filmed that opener last year?
Oh, I feel like you're going to go somewhere, and yeah.
Your hair was brown, my friend.
Thank you so much.
How are we feeling about the new look right here?
Yeah,
really brightening up the studio.
You're welcome. Honestly, I view myself as like a little ray of sunshine, if you will. So, because I have to balance out your Eeyore
yeah, the
behavior.
very drab gray on black. Hey, ray of sunshine is a perfect segue to the first show we're doing after a Cowboys win.
Yes.
Felt like we never got to do that in 2020.
We didn't.
So the Cowboys have improved to 1-1, did so on the road, did so against a promising young quarterback. How we feeling, man?
Honestly, I feel great. Like in a beautiful new facility. That's not the first time this team's played here, but you know what? It was the first time.
It felt like it, though. It felt like the first time.
I'm sure. I mean, you were there. Tell me, what was the energy like? I kept on seeing how it was feeling like it was a home game.
Yeah, you know what it felt like? It felt like Cowboy Nation showed up and showed out.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert had to use a silent count in this game.
That's impressive in itself, but he's not the only one who was affected by the Cowboys. I want to talk about just some of the key takeaways I had from the game. I have to go ahead and lead with this Cowboys offense. I mean, last week, I really wanted that win, but when Tampa Bay took away the running game, they went ahead and passed more. And then this week, Kellen Moore calls a little bit more of a run-heavy game. Tony Pollard, I mean, you have been riding the TP train for a minute, so I know you're not surprised, but dare I say this is a balanced Cowboys offense?
Exactly. And that's like, people talk about balance as an in-game thing. It is an overarching thing. Cowboys can't run the ball against the Bucs. They throw it 58 times, they make it work. Chargers don't want to give up the passing game. They play two deep safeties, and Kellen Moore says, that's awesome. We've got two stud running backs who can get the job done. Tony Pollard, Zeke had a nice day as well. I feel like people make too much of this. They both had touchdowns last time I checked, but 198 yards on the ground. It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I talked to a friend about it, and they called it unselfish, and I couldn't agree more, if you will. Okay, so briefly want to touch on this too, though. Terrence Steele had himself a nice game. I really felt like with Joey Bosa on the other side, you had to be a little bit concerned. But honestly, he showed up, and it really was impressive in itself. But what about the other side of the ball too? Because takeaways have been something. I mean, this defense in general, we've talked about it before, the bars on the ground, but we had a few of those, and it feels like they were really showing up to play.
Okay, the bar might be on the ground, but they are raising it week by week.
Love it. Here for it.
4 takeaways against Tom Brady. That speaks for itself.
Yep.
Another 2. I feel like we've had whole seasons where the Cowboys didn't have 6 takeaways. I know that's an exaggeration, but not by that much. That's the wild part about it. So to see them get 2, hold the Chargers to just 17 points, and Justin Herbert has opportunities. Chargers had a role in that. They had 2 touchdowns wiped out by flags, but hey, that's why you play the game, man. And they held them to less than 20. That's something we haven't seen a Cowboys defense be able to do reliably. I will take it every single time.
Yeah, all around. I mean, listen, it was an impressive performance. There were definitely some moments where I think there was some questioning, but at the same time, the Cowboys went in and got it done, which is exactly what they needed to do, especially as they come off the road and come back to Dallas. And
homestand.
Yes, season home opener.
Already, I have to say it, I picked them to lose that game. Already, just 2 weeks into the season, we're starting to realize that we've been wrong about some things with this Cowboys team. And so in this next segment, we're going to offer up some mea culpas, so stay with us as we get some apologies out. We'll be right back after this.
Cowboys Star at Night is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys, AT&T, and by Favor, the official on-demand food delivery partner of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back, everyone. All right, listen. I didn't eat a lot today, and so I feel like now is a time that I feel like I should inhale some humble pie.
Oh, okay, that's where. All right,
That's
that's
where
where
I was going with that. He had no idea.
Or maybe some crow. Yeah,
All of the above.
humble pie sounds tastier.
Because apparently, I, along with many people, were wrong about several individuals, and so I'd like to go ahead and offer a bit of an apology. Let's start out with Terrence Steele, because you know what? I was concerned. Last season, let's be honest, it was a bit of a struggle. I talked about this last year. This is not new news. Undrafted free agent. I really did not feel like he was set up for success last season, but you know what? He took that entire offseason, trained his butt off, and he had a fantastic game. I mean, that was a career game against a 3-time Pro Bowler on the other side of the ball. Joey Bosa didn't get a quarterback hit or even a tackle for loss. I mean, he straight up made that man ineffective this week.
It's almost like some of us saw it coming.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not even giving you the Terrence Steele one.
I couldn't help but try to throw that in there. But look, you're not alone in this regard. I too owe some apologies, and in my case, it's probably to Micah Parsons, and not just Micah Parsons the player, but the people that decided to bring him here. Because the night he got drafted, actually, the guy he was playing against was the guy I wanted, Rashawn Slater.
Yep.
Heck of an offensive tackle, but we saw why the Cowboys wanted Micah Parsons on Sunday afternoon. And I said in the spring, is he going to do enough in the pass rush game? Is he going to be dynamic enough? If he's just an off-ball linebacker, that's not worth the 12th overall pick. Well, guess what? The Cowboys said, hey, Dave, how about we put him down and have him play on the edge for a whole frickin' game and just whip the Chargers' butts all day?
Yep.
8 pressures, 4 hits on the quarterback, and a sack. It's not a stretch to say the sack decided the game. It forced the Chargers to settle, pushed them out of the goal line, and forced them to kick a field goal. He was a beast. And if he plays like that, then he was absolutely worth the pick. So I am sorry, Micah and the Cowboys.
I believe that McCarthy actually equated him to one Clay Matthews. And
nice company to be in.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't suck by any sense of the word. But Micah's one that he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He kind of had to, because let's face it, he wasn't the player that a lot of fans, and honestly, this team at times felt like they wanted. And I respect the fact that this man has come out and made us regret those comments. He's like, listen, you want me to place pressure over the center? I'll come from the side. Like, I'm going to be aggressive and just completely wreak havoc on the other side of the field. And you know what? I respect it. This one, the last one, though, that I really genuinely, this one's going to hurt me a little bit.
I'm giving you the floor on this. This is your specialty.
Okay, special teams. Listen, I was very scarred from previous seasons after Dan Bailey left this team. And in this category, I've just struggled to find my faith, and especially coming off of the first week with Zuerlein, I don't even know what happened there. I was just very concerned. You know what? He is a true pro's pro, and he went out and did the damn thing. And
damn right he did.
He really did. And you know what, Dave? I'm not going to give you credit for calling it with Steele, but you called it with Zuerlein. You knew this would come back.
Thank you, Kelso, because I did. You know why? Because it's the NFL. It just is what it is. The guy's made too many kicks to just completely forget how to do it. And that wasn't easy. They didn't help him out, by the way. They put him in a bad spot.
That last play.
And he delivered anyway. Not saying he's not going to miss again this season, but that's a heck of a way to bounce back from a bad game. So kudos to you, Greggy Z. When we come back, they won the game. I'm going to try to win a game of my own, one of our favorites from last year. Stick with us.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage. This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back, everyone. All right, so Dave, you know, on this here television program, we like to have a little fun. So we're going to play a game. It's not a new one. If you're with us on season 1, you'll be nice and familiar. We're going to play Which Cowboy Is It? And just a refresher for you, We are going to show you a scenario, and you have to decide, we have to decide, if it's a cowboy from the field or a cowboy from the screen. Are you ready to lose, my friend?
I can't decide what I'm more excited about, being in the studio where we can use all of our fun toys to play this game, or the fact that I'm going to kick your ass because I am actually on hand for all of these quotes. Like, I'm going to dominate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go.
Let's go ahead and get going because I just need to bury you quickly. First one up. We are all born naked into this world, but each of us is fully clothed in potential. Wow, that is deep. Is that an on-the-field cowboy or an on-the-screen, my friend?
I mean, that's too good to be a football player. That's too good of a quote to have come from a football player, so I'm going on the screen. I don't know who.
Yeah, sure, I'll go on the screen as well. Oh, what?
With all due respect, he stole that from somewhere else,
Are
right?
you sure about that?
No, but that's a hell of a quote, Emmitt Smith.
That is deep.
If that is an Emmitt Smith original, then I need to read his book or something. Holy crap.
Autobiography coming in hot, please and thank you. All right, next one up. Even bad men love their mamas. Honestly, I have men issues right now, so I'm going to disagree.
Do you want to talk about
I
that?
don't want to talk about it,
sure?
but is that on the field or on the screen? Please just save me from myself.
That's on the screen.
It has to be on the screen. Like,
yeah.
why are we talking about our moms on the field?
Well, and I could
It's
say
on the
something that I'm not going to say right now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pass. Ben Wade. Wow. Yes. So you are correct, my friend, on the screen. I think we're both batting about 500 right now. So let's see if we can rectify this.
Doing
and
as well as I thought I'd do.
Actually get this dub that I need. The older the violin, the sweeter the music. That has to be.
Who again, what football player is talking about a violin? Nonsense.
Caden!
You're going to tell me Bob Lilly said this next. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's on the screen.
It has to be on the screen. Unless it was Jerry, that's like the only way I can see this.
Caden's the only one here who knows anything about cowboys in movies anyway.
It's so true. And you know what? You are right. It was on the screen.
Kelsey, you've seen Lonesome Dove, right?
Oh, have I seen any movie? No. Listen, it's okay, though, because I'm pretty sure we netted out with a tie. I'm going to go ahead and give myself the edge because at the end of the day, I like winning, and I just feel like I did better than you.
I feel hoodwinked and bamboozled because none of these quotes were from members of this team. That's where I get the edge.
Okay.
Caden's just playing to your strengths because he likes you more than he
Well, you know what? Facts are facts. So let's call a spade a spade. All right, guys. Thanks so much for playing this little game with us. But don't worry, we've got more coming up for you all next. Stay with us. Fran from The Equals is joining us.
This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to the show. Kels, we did this last year. I get it.
Yes.
Eagles Cowboys was not fun last year.
No.
I don't know how else to slice it. With apologies to Ben DiNucci. It's not the same as much fun as it might be to say. Same thing with the end of the season matchup. It felt like a footnote in a lost season. So I personally, I'm jacked to have the rivalry back, man. It's got some juice to it. And to expound on that, we brought in a good buddy of mine, my counterpart from PhiladelphiaEagles.com, Fran Duffy.
Fran!
On the vertical screen. What's up, my man? How you doing? How does it feel better? I don't know. It's a less of a COVID season. Are y'all as excited as we are down here?
Definitely excited, and obviously a lot of energy around this team. So everybody's fired up from that aspect. But it's Cowboys week, as we say up here. I don't know what you guys call it. It's Cowboys week down there, but I'm really excited for a huge NFC matchup Monday night.
I'm glad you said that because, I mean, this is a rivalry on both sides, but I just feel like the city of Philadelphia.
I was going to say.
Y'all get geeked up for this one, man.
Yeah.
What's the energy like with a new coach and a new quarterback and kind of a new face for this organization coming into this?
I think everybody's really juiced up, and it's a really young coaching staff. And we talked about that all offseason about the energy that they brought to the building. And you guys know how that can go. When there's a new staff, it's kind of a new feel, a new electricity around the building. And Nick Sirianni has definitely brought that. And the team seems to be kind of feeding off of that. We felt that every day during training camp. And obviously, it was a huge win in week 1. A little bit of a disappointing loss against a tough 49ers team in week 2. But I think there's still a lot of juice that's building around this team, a lot of speed on both sides of the football, a lot of reasons to be excited about a group that you would hope the arrow is pointing up.
Okay, so I actually want to dive in a little bit more about one particular side of the football, and I think you know where I'm going to start this thing off with Jalen Hurts. I mean, listen, last year, people were calling him a running back at one point, and then there wasn't a ton of confidence, and then he had some incredible flashes, and it seems like this guy really has some upside. Is the team bought in on Hurts, and what do you think he really, truly brings to that side of the game?
Well, I think when you look at Jalen Hurts, certainly his athleticism has shown up a handful of times. He's been able to get out of trouble. But what I've been most optimistic about is that oftentimes when he breaks the pocket, he's not running just to run. We saw that at the end of the game against San Francisco when they needed chunk yardage. But you go back to week 1, he's breaking the pocket with his eyes downfield, and he finds Dallas Goedert in the end zone for a touchdown, a great throw, threads the needle, puts it where only the tight end can get it. Good from Jalen Hurts as a decision maker, as a passer. Certainly the athleticism is still there, but everybody is what he can be. And look, he'll have to continue to build on that. You guys know from when you're dealing with a young quarterback, and when you can reflect back on Dak Prescott early in his career, you're trying to see him build week after week, month after month, and that eventually season after season, right? And I think that's kind of where Jalen Hurts is at this point, is now it's time to prove it and continue to build week after week here with this offense.
So this isn't necessarily fun. I just think it's eerie timing. The Cowboys lose DeMarcus Lawrence for a couple of months last week heading into their matchup. We saw the way they answered it with Micah Parsons, having him fill in as more of a pass rusher than a linebacker. Unfortunately for Philly, Brandon Graham goes down in this game against San Francisco. It seems like y'all have had a boatload of pass rushers for a few years now. Is it Josh Sweat? Who's stepping into that role to kind of fill in for him?
Well, I think early on, I mean, you have a lot of different options there, right? So Derek Barnett and Josh Sweat have been kind of platooning at that other defensive end spot. The coaching staff has consistently called them 3 starters at defensive end. Now you're going to see Josh Sweat play a little bit more snaps, but you also see Ryan Kerrigan come over from the Washington football team. He's coming off the bench, and you've got some other young players in the mix there as well. So whether it's a rookie like a Teron Jackson, Milton Williams, a Texas guy who went to Louisiana Tech, he was the Eagles' 3rd-round draft choice. He's really flashed, and he's played both defensive end and defensive tackle. So when you factor everything in, Derek Barnett, Sweat, Kerrigan, some of these other rookies, I think it'll be by committee, but obviously with Josh Sweat getting that extension just last weekend, we're excited to see what he can be with a little bit more reps on the defensive side of the football.
Okay, so Dave, you mentioned it. Obviously, last season, these didn't quite go the Cowboys' way. No. So we're hoping, momentum-wise, we can build off this. I need to get a final prediction from you in terms of how you're feeling about this season opener, at least home opener for the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the home opener for the Cowboys, the second time the Eagles have gone on the road. I like the Eagles to go down there and get a dub. I feel like when you have that kind of – what I'm kind of talking about with this team. Look, you guys know how I'm going to go with this. And Dave, I know when you return the favor and come on my show, you'll make that same prediction. But here's when I look at the Eagles' path to success, I look at strong trench play on both sides, offensive line, defensive line, a lot of speed on offense, and a defense that has been really stingy, and a quarterback that can create plays. So I am excited about what this team can be, but you need to capitalize on mistakes that the other team makes, and you need to be able to not have some of those same missed opportunities they had a week ago against San Francisco.
I respectfully disagree, but I appreciate your analysis.
He's right. I'm gonna return the favor when I go on his show later in the week. It's fine. Honestly, forget the game. I'm excited to see what Nick Sirianni is gonna wear for the game, because he did the Iverson, he did the Jalen Hurts T-shirt. So whatever he's got planned for Dallas week, I'm excited about it. Fran, thank you so much for joining us, man. We'll be right back after this.
Cowboys Star at Night was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys, AT&T, and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
I shouldn't have been surprised by this, but a game in LA was bound to have a bunch of celebrities. Cowboys family, you see Charlotte Jones-Anderson there taking a selfie with...
Decent company.
Yeah, Conor McGregor and Post Malone. I guess they couldn't get LeBron over into their suite. He was busy somewhere else. But yeah, when you play in LA, I guess the stars tend to come out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, victory selfies are a lot better when you are in said company. I wouldn't hate taking a selfie with Post Malone. It's fine.
Yeah, I gotta get in on one of those. But in the meantime, to close us out for the week, it just had us thinking about selfies, right? And this one's not, well, it's star-studded, but maybe not by a Cowboys perspective. But when I think about my favorite selfies, I just go the glory year of 2016.
Look how young they look.
This was Dak was talking to Deion Sanders on his old post-game show. I think this was after the Pittsburgh game. Dak is fine. I like Dak. I think the beard was a good choice, my guy. But like Zeke's face
kills me.
Is everything to me.
Slave.
I laugh looking at this photo to this day, 5 years later.
All right, well, I'm going to play to my audience here because this one, I think, ultimately is the best selfie of all time. If you are one, David Hellman, tell me I'm wrong. Come on, Joey B.
You're my best friend. Why are you kissing my butt like this?
I
like,
know.
Of course, this makes me emotional. You're right. You win. Yours is better.
Thank you so
Way to
much.
go.
So in conclusion, I won the day. The Cowboys won this week, and you know what? I'd love to win next week. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.